Welcome to today's lecture under the use of English series for JAMB UTME, episode 20. And our topic for today is collocations. Do not forget to enable full screen in your device by tapping on the icon located at this place that I'm hovering my mouse to enjoy full screen. Put the lecture in full screen and enjoy a maximum viewer's experience. Do not forget to make your own notes for subsequent revision as you take the lecture. Without wasting much of our time, let's head straight into the lecture outline. The lecture outline: definition, types, and examples of collocations. Principles of collocations, practice exercises from WAEC and JAMB/answers. A quick recap of the lecture. You will learn the above in this lecture, and I wish you good luck. Collocations. Collocation is the possibility of setting words to go together. That's the simple definition of collocation. The possibility, the tendency, the probability of setting words to go together. Some words just go together, especially in an exam condition. They always go together. When this comes, the other comes after it. That's it. For example, weak and feeble may mean the same thing, but we talk of weak T, not feeble T. Take note of the color codings. We talk of weak T, not what? Feeble T. They mean the same thing, or they mean almost the same thing, but we say weak T, but we don't say feeble T. If you say feeble T, it sounds clumsy. It sounds vague. So weak T, either you say weak T or you say feeble T. In other words, T collocates with weak and not with feeble. So T collocates with weak and not with feeble. There's a high tendency for T to appear beside weak, or for weak to appear alongside T, or for T to appear alongside weak. That's it. That's collocation. That's the illustration of collocation. Note the following collocations. These that we are about to treat right now are one of the most common collocations, especially in WAEC and JAMB UTME. So let's quickly treat them. They always reoccur in JAMB and UTME. So when you use one, there is a high tendency, there's a high possibility, there's a high probability to use the other. So and that, so and that, so that. So collocates with that. Let's read. So collocates with that. And in most cases, when we use so, there is the need for that to follow. When you use so, in most cases, there is the need for that to follow. For example, I was so hungry that I finished the food. Take note of the color codings. I was so hungry that I finished the food. Correct. Why is it correct? Because so came here, because we have so here, and there is a need to put its counterpart, which is that. It collocates with that. It appears alongside that, or that appears alongside so. Looking at the next example here, I finished the food because I was so hungry. Wrong. Because we are using so here, then we didn't use that in the sentence, making this sentence wrong. I finished the food because I was very hungry. We did not use so. Neither did we use that in this sentence. We did not use so in the statement. Neither did we use that, making this correct. So take notes. Moving on. Another collocation. As regards. As collocates with regards. As collocates with regards. While with collocates with what? Regard to. Let's look at the example. Regards collocates with as. Okay. This form that has s. Regards collocates with what? As. Regards collocates with what? As. For example, as regards our JAMB UTME, we are doing everything. Correct. As collocates with regards. The next example here, as regard, no s now, our JAMB UTME, we are doing everything. Wrong. Regard collocates with. So this one without s collocates with what? With. Regard collocates with. For example, with regard to our JAMB UTME, we are doing everything. Correct. With collocates with regard. With regards to your JAMB UTME, blah blah blah, that's wrong. With regards. It's not supposed to go with s. This s form, this singular form of verb. You know, regards is a verb. So this is a singular form. It should not go with. This one having s. Moving on. Although collocates with yet. Though and although usually collocates with yet. Though and although usually collocates with yet. Take note. Sometimes yet may be omitted and the sentence will remain correct. So let's see examples next. The first example we have here is although he is poor, yet he sent his child to school. Correct. Because we use although here and there is a possibility and a need to use yet. The second example says although he is poor, he sent his child to school. Correct. Why is it correct? Because we use although, but we didn't use yet. But even though you want to omit the other word that collocates with the other, do not use another word to replace it. The next example we have here says although he is poor, but he sent his child to school. That's wrong. The last example we have here is although he is poor and he sent his child to school. A common mistake among Nigerians. That's wrong. And does not collocate with though. But does not collocate with though. Only yet collocates with though and although. Moving on. In view collocate with of. In view, collocate with of. Slash with a view, collocate with to. When you are using in view, you use of for its collocation. When you are using with a view, you use to for its collocation. These two should go with a gerund, ing, or with a noun, but never with a verb. So two of them, in view of and with a view to, should go with a gerund, which is ing form of verb, or a noun. Can also go with a noun, but never with a verb. Take note of the color coding. Danger, red, showing you danger. Okay. For example, in view of finding a solution, correct. The ing form, which is a gerund, correct. The second one here is with a view to finding a solution, also correct. With a view to, that's the other form. With a view to finding a solution, correct. We still use the gerund here, ing form. Remember, it can go with a gerund, it can go with a noun, but never with a verb. More examples. With the view of finding a solution, correct. With the view of find a solution, that's wrong. With a view to find a solution, wrong. This is a verb. Find is a verb. Find here is also a verb. Find is a verb. So making it wrong. It can go with a noun and a gerund, but never with an ordinary plain verb or a normal base verb. No. Moving on. Sympathize with. Sympathize collocates with. Why? Sympathetic collocates with to. Do not use with for sympathetic. He was sympathetic with him. No, that's wrong. Sympathize collocates with. Sympathetic collocates with to. Let's look at the example we have here. I sympathize with him. Correct. Sympathize collocates with. The next example says, I am sympathetic to him. Also correct. Sympathetic collocates with to. Correct. The next example here says, I am sympathetic with him. That's wrong. A very common mistake among Nigerians. Please guard against that in your JAMB, UTME, and WAEC exams. Moving on. Surprise at. Surprised collocates with at. When you use surprised, you use at. There is a higher possibility or higher chances of your using at. The first example we have here says, I am surprised at you. Correct. Why is it correct? Because surprise collocates with at. We use at here. The second example says, I am surprised at what you said. Correct. Because surprise collocates with at. We use surprise. We also use at. The third example says, I am surprised by you. That's wrong. Why is it wrong? Because surprise does not collocate with by. Take note of the color coding. Danger, red. The next example here says, I am surprised by what you said. Also wrong. Because surprise does not collocate with by, but only at, according to collocations. Moving on. Looking forward to. Looking forward to. This also goes with a gerund or noun, just like with view to and in view of. This also goes with a gerund or noun, but never with a verb, a base verb. For example, we are looking forward to visiting the place. ing form, gerund, ing form. If you have not taken my lecture on verb and gerund, do that as soon as possible to have a better understanding of this lecture. Take my lecture on verb and gerund. I think that topic, gerund, is inside the lecture verb. So do where to take it. We are looking forward to visiting the place. Correct. It can go with a gerund or noun, but never with a verb, because gerund are noun. Gerund are regarded as nouns. We are looking forward to visit the place. Wrong. We don't use a base verb. We don't use a verb. When we use looking forward to, do not use a verb, but you can use a gerund and a noun. That's that for that. Moving on. Prefer collocates with to. I prefer the boys to the girls. That's correct, because prefer is here and to is also here. But when you now say, I prefer the boys than the girls, it becomes wrong, because I prefer here should collocate with to and not than. This is a very common mistake among Nigerians, so guard against that for your JAMB, UTME, and WAEC exams 2026. Moving on. Discuss something / talk about something. This one is another mistake, and this one always comes out in JAMB, UTME. This one came out in JAMB, UTME 2025. So it's likely going to come out in JAMB, UTME 2026 too. Discuss something / talk about something. Let's look at the example. When you are saying discuss, do not use about. Just say discuss. Do not use about. It is either you say discuss or you say talk about. Let's look at the example we have here. They are discussing your appointment. Correct. Can you see? Only discussing was used. Only discuss was used. They are discussing your appointment. Correct. They are talking about your appointment. Also correct. Either you use discuss or you use talk about or talking about. But when you now say they are discussing about your appointment, it becomes wrong. Do not use discussing or discuss and about together. They don't agree with each other. They don't comply with each other. Okay. The last example here states they are talking your appointment. That's wrong. They are talking your appointment. You need about. It says where is about. So talk collocates with about, but discuss does not collocate with about. So you can say talk about, you can say discuss, or you can use only talk about. Okay, but do not use discuss about. So when you are using talking, use about. When you are using discuss, do not use about. Moving on. Learn by heart Another common mistake made by most Nigerians. Learn by heart. A very common mistake made by most Nigerians. Very, very common. And this is very, very common in JAMB and WAEC. I think in JAMB UTME 2025, the question was also repeated from this. Learn by heart, okay? He learns the poem off head. That's wrong. Learning by heart. You don't learn something off head. That's wrong. Off head. I learned it off head. No, I can recite it off head. Wrong. He learned the poem by heart. I learned it by heart. That's correct. That means he memorized it. He learned the poem offhand. That's what? Wrong. Because you don't use offhand to express what someone learned. Okay? Or you use offhead or offhand. No. Let's look at what we use offhand for. We use it for quotes. Okay? Quote offhand. Quote offhand. To quote. That's when we use offhand. When you want to quote, you want to recite something. He can quote the lines offhand. Correct. Another example here. He can quote the lines offhead. This one is another common mistake. Offhead. That's wrong. Offhand. Can quote it offhand. You quote offhand and you learn by heart. He can quote the lines from memory. That's wrong. You quote offhand and you learn by heart. With this, we have come to the end of collocations. Let's take some exercises to test our knowledge. Exercises. This questions was brought from JAMB UTME 2011/2018. The instruction says pick the appropriate alternative that best completes the gap. Number 1. Though we came early, dash we missed the bus. Though we came early, dash we missed the bus. A. But. B. But yet. C. And. D. Yet. What's your answer? Though we came early, dash we missed the bus. You answered right. The correct option is D. Yet. Though we came early, yet we missed the bus. Number 2. I am not sure I can recite the poem dash. I am not sure I can recite the poem dash. A. From head. B. Offhand. C. Off head. D. From memory. What's your answer? I am not sure I can recite the poem dash. You answered right. The correct option is B. Offhand. I am not sure I can recite the poem offhand. Number 3. The panel is meeting to dash the issue. The panel is meeting to dash the issue. A. Discuss about. C. Discuss of. B. Talk of. D. Discuss. What's your answer? The panel is meeting to dash the issue. You answered right. The correct option is D. Discuss. The panel is meeting to discuss the issue. Number 4. I am talking dash the PDP APC debate. I am talking dash the PDP APC debate. A. With regard to. C. As regards to. B. With regards to. D. As regard to. What's your answer? I am talking dash the PDP APC debate. You answered right. The correct option is A. With regard to. I am talking with regard to the PDP APC debate. These are the answers. What did you score? A quick recap of this lecture says collocation is the possibility for certain words to come together. The tendency of words to come together is collocation. Types of collocation include so, that, so collocates with that. As collocates with regards. With collocates with regard to. Looking forward to collocates with a gerund and not a verb. A gerund and noun can be collocated with looking forward to, and so on and so forth. Thank you so much for taking this lecture, and I hope you gained a lot from this lecture and you enjoyed yourself. You took notes for subsequent revision. Do not forget to subscribe and follow for more at Nkwado Augustine across all social media platforms. Do you have any knowledge gap or questions? Do where to drop your questions and knowledge gap in the comment section, and I will do justice to your knowledge gap and questions. At this point, I'm out.